I just found this absolutely fascinating. I'm having to go pick up a couple of totes of syrup on Monday morning, and I just loaded these totes on here maybe 5 minutes ago, and look, already we've got a bunch of bees trying to swarm, or I mean rob the syrup. Yeah, within like 5 minutes. Just a reminder as far as getting ready for fall and everything else. Once again, I'm sorry if I sound like a broken record. I just know that as many things as people have going on in their life, we all oftentimes need repetition as far as hearing something significantly enough to act upon it. If that makes sense. And one thing to just be aware of, if you haven't done it already, especially in our area, whenever I'm giving beekeeping advice, the whole reason for this channel from the beginning was for our new customers and our local customer. I've been really, really glad to see that extend into a global community. I love that. But once again, remember that when I'm giving advice, it's kind of for the Pacific Northwest area here. We're on the western side of the Cascade Mountains here in Washington State. But if you're having major issues with your hives being robbed, you probably have an underlying issue that's the more significant problem. Probably at this point, it'd be more along the lines of viral issues from mites. Mites. It always goes back to mites. And then also the thing to be aware of is that even if you knock down the mites, if their numbers have been populous long enough, you're going to have a bunch of viral issues still carrying on in your bees. The trick, obviously, is to kill the mites before they're able to vector that type of viral load in your hive, and then it just becomes a kind of a death spiral you can't get out of. But anyways, mites, probably your number one issue if you're seeing robbing, and it's probably too late to do anything about it. But really, the biggest thing that we worry about is just anything that's overt that the bees can rob. The biggest thing we have to watch for, because we use in-frame feeders, is one of us, when we're feeding the yard, forgetting to close a lid, so something like that. If you want to put an entrance reducer on, you can. I would just be careful. Don't use the smallest setting on them, just simply because we still have some hot days and the bees need the ventilation. When you're feeding them syrup, in order to for them to cure that and get it out of the danger zone of moisture for fermentation and spoilage, they have to have good airflow. So you don't want to restrict it too much. But if you do want to do something, you can use that. So yeah, mites, feed, making sure that your hives are up to proper wintering weight. The key for here, I think, is, I heard somebody say 45 to 50 pounds per colony, which seems in the ballpark, because, like I say, for wintering in doubles, like what we got here in the home yard, doubles, I'm wanting that top box to feel like a rock. I mean, that's really what we're looking for. But yeah, so feed, also pollen substitute is really important. Help those bees, a good quality one, help those bees get those winter fats in them for winter. And yeah, anyways, just yeah, so this was actually meant to just be a little video on robbing, and kind of turned into this hopefully somewhat educational ramble.